Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with some folks from Building for Christ. We've got Miriam Yoder, Joe Yoder, and Tanya Yoder. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's figure out the relationship here. Miriam, you are the person that I spoke with first.
Yep.
And-
I'm actually Joe's sister. Joe's my brother, and then his wife Tanya is with us as well.
Okay, so Building for Christ. Tell me a little bit about the history of it. How long has this organization been up and running?
Actually, it's been going for a few years now. My brother Joe has been taking teams over, but Building for Christ, the ministry has actually just began in April of 2016 is when Building for Christ was actually started.
So about a year that you've actually been Building for Christ, but everything leading up to that's been happening for the last couple of years. All right, what do you do?
We actually are in the process right now of building 2 school buildings in Uganda. Is pretty much what we've been doing for the past few years. Every year, it's been actually like 5 years. And we've built 2 school teachers' houses, and then also three classroom school buildings. And this year we'll actually be building 2 5 classroom school buildings. So, and also among that we do some other ministry stuff. And we actually work with Pastor George Jabalani from Uganda. Gulu Community Church is actually the church that he ministers, and then they have like outreach, like village churches, and that's where we go into those village churches and do ministry work and build schoolhouses and stuff for the young children there.
Where did this idea come from?
Actually, Miriam, my sister, she can share a little bit about how this started or whatever. So,
Actually, yeah, back it would have been about 5 years ago. I decided I wanted to spend some time and just kind of dedicate it to God and just kind of go do some ministry. So I actually decided to go to Uganda, Africa, and work with Watoto Child Care Ministries.
Let me stop you there. How did you pick that?
I don't know. I guess I just prayed for, for guidance on deciding what I wanted to do. But I love working with children, and I had it on my heart to, be around children and show love to children that didn't have moms and dads and that were abandoned.
How did you learn about that particular ministry in Uganda?
There was actually a few other girls from the local community that had went before, so I knew that they had gone and they had enjoyed their experience, and so I had got in contact with them and got to talk with them a little bit about it, so I knew a little bit of what I was getting myself into.
Well, what did you think you were getting yourself into?
Well, I guess what I thought I was getting myself into was, taking care of kids and getting to show them love every day and things like that, in which I did get to experience that. It was, of course, harder than anticipated, considering I was leaving my family, I was leaving my friends, and but yeah, I went for a 3-month stage and got to volunteer for it was like 7 days a week that you spend time with the kids from morning till the evening. Yeah.
3 months. All right. This is not a week or 2 missions trip.
No,
this is not short term. This was a commitment.
Yeah. Yep. I wanted to just spend a little bit of time, and I didn't go to college or anything like that, so I wanted to spend some time and just enjoy traveling and get outside of the U.S. and see what else is out there, and really wanted to spend some time with some kids. So yeah.
Well, I would say with this kind of an experience, oh yes, you have been to college. It's just a little different kind. How did you handle the language differences?
For the most part, they speak fluent English. I
mean,
really?
In Uganda?
Yeah, in Uganda. They all have their own dialect in each town.
Well, they actually, English is actually their national language. They do each have, Acholi is their tribal language or whatever, but their tribal languages are actually like different dialects. But English would be, so most of the kids that go to school, some of the older generations don't speak English, but most of them actually speak fluent English.
So they're learning English in schools.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah, it makes the communication so much easier,
right.
Obviously, when you go to a different country and they speak the same, language that you do.
So that's so interesting. So you went expecting, you knew you were giving 3 months of your life to this. You went expecting getting a chance to work with children. Where did the idea of, we need to build more schools down here come from?
Actually, that was kind of interesting how that all came about. I was over there for 3 months and came back home, and basically the whole 3 months that I was over there, I was strictly in with Watoto Child Care Ministries, and I was strictly working with them and working with the kids. When I came back, I had a friend that I lived with for a very short time in Gulu. I was up there for just a couple of weeks, which is in northern Uganda. And when I was there, I actually got to meet someone that was going to plan on taking another trip, which was about a year later after I had returned. And when she called me and decided told me she was going and she was wondering if I'd like to join her, I actually asked my brother Joe to join me and go with. And so we kind of just got in contact. I had a mutual friend that was with me as well over there, and that I live with, and she actually worked with the pastor over there. And that's kind of how we got in touch. We had never met the pastor before the trip that me and Joe had taken together. But so we kind of got in contact with him and wanted to see what the town needs, what the communities need. And that was something that the pastor just really had on his heart, was to have buildings, to have opportunities to have children get their education and have church as well.
Mm-hmm. What were the conditions of buildings that you saw when you went?
Well, I mean, the school buildings, there were no existing school buildings in these villages. So, a lot of the school buildings that we're building are actually, a lot of them are what we would call kindergarten to like maybe 2 or, I don't know, how old are second, third graders? Like
8 or 9 years old.
Something like that. So, and then they'll...
So primary school.
Yeah,
K
primary
through 3.
school, exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, a lot of these kids, the bigger schools aren't near these villages, so they literally don't go to school unless they have to walk there if they would go, which is too far to walk.
Yeah.
So, and Pastor George has it on his heart to, bring education to these villages. And along with that, he first we start out with a church building there, and then as people start coming to church, and the village start sounding more interested in what's going on there or whatever, and then that's when we kind of help out with the school buildings and stuff. So
first of all, how is this funded? And second, do you have day jobs? I'm talking to very young people here, very young people that suddenly are doing this worldwide, making a difference worldwide, making me think, what the heck have I done with my life? So first of all, how is this funded?
We actually... Just this year, since Building for Christ started, I mean, we've been working on the paperwork to get our 501c3 a while already, but and we actually own a couple construction businesses. So me and my dad, I mean, in the years past, we just kind of
Let's give a shout out to those construction businesses.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my dad and a couple others own Klein Restoration and also DJY Home Improvements.
Okay, support them.
And also Fresh Treads Tire and Lube. So we have a couple different businesses that we help obviously support this. And also we did a gun raffle this year, which helped tremendously. The community, obviously, definitely helps in the community that we live in. It's just awesome. And we were actually able to raise in like 3 months' time. When we set our goal at $50,000, we actually raised over $50,000 this year in 3 months.
That's amazing.
Actually, I guess we would have started in November.
Mm-hmm.
So so we were able to raise,
awesome.
but previously, just me and my dad were just paying it out of our personal finances.
Wow.
And
boy,
we
will you be blessed.
We were kind of limiting, I think, and we were just kind of talking amongst ourselves. We're kind of limiting to what God actually has, what He can do. So that's kind of why we want to get more people involved and get more support, be able to raise more support. So.
Yeah, so you're continuing to fundraise to be able to build more schools and impact more children's lives and families in general. What kind of ways are you raising funds? Can people do you have a GoFundMe, a Kickstarter, or something?
We do. We actually have a website where people can donate online.
What is that?
It is buildingforchrist, I think, .org. I have to look at my...
Okay. That sounds as good as anything. Buildingforchrist.org.
And also we also have a Facebook page. It's called Building for Christ. You can go on there, and there's links on there to our website as well.
Or go to Facebook and just do a search for Building for Christ.
Yeah.
And to your knowledge, there's not another one.
There isn't. No, not exactly like ours. So,
you're from a community that is so self-sufficient. What was it like? How did it hit you? Was there any kind of culture shock to go see people functioning with so little?
It is actually quite a bit of a culture shock. I mean, they there's the way they do things over there when we go and build a building. I mean, yeah, we could take power tools and stuff along, but we don't. We work, we hire actually masons there, skilled masons, and we pay them. Obviously, it gives them, jobs, and also some of the local village people help out, because obviously it's going for them. It gives them an ownership of the building. But yeah, the way they do things is completely different, than what we do it here.
Did you learn from each other? Did you learn some things from them as well?
Definitely.
Like what kinds of things?
They're very hard workers. I mean, just the way everything is done from hand. I mean, there's no power tools, nothing, everything's cut from hand. And all these buildings are brick buildings. They're built with just brick and, mortar, obviously. And they actually make the bricks themselves.
Let's talk about that because, I have someone else in my life that went and was just blown away by the fact that as far as mortar, they were just stirring cement, standing there stirring sand and water, stirring all day long, morning to night until it finally turned into cement.
Yeah.
They didn't have cement mixers.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Did that
use
blow you
cement.
away as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can buy cement mixers there, but to get them out in the villages and stuff is just kind of... I mean, they're used to doing it like that, and
hard workers.
Yeah, they're definitely hard workers.
Starting at about what age? Do children get to play, or are they put to work soon?
No, the children definitely. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of toys and stuff. This year we're going to be taking along a lot of children's books and some toys as well and stuff like that, because a lot of these kids, I mean, these families have no income or whatever, so they literally just grow what they can grow to eat, and they plow a little bit of land to grow their for whatever they can eat. So I mean, they don't have a whole lot of income, so that's kind of why we're trying to help out, as best we can.
Yeah, and giving them income by giving them work to do and helping the building. Tanya, what's your role in all of this?
I'm not sure. This is actually it'll be my first trip to Uganda.
Wow.
I've traveled to quite a few other countries, but it'll be my first trip to Uganda.
Where have you been? Where have you traveled?
I've been in Haiti. I lived in Jamaica for a year. I was in Asia for 6 weeks. I've been in Brazil, a little bit all over the place, but first time to Africa, so I'm very excited about it.
When we talk about building for Christ, then do you foresee maybe this moving from Uganda into some of these other countries as well? You guys, what's your dream as far as expanding?
We're just leaving that up to God, whatever He has. But definitely, I would love to go, to other countries and do the same thing. I mean, she has a sister living in Haiti, so, I mean, there's a little bit of connection there as well. And, yeah, I would definitely be open to that, and we definitely hope that that's exactly what's going to happen. We're just trusting God to see what He has for us, so, yeah.
It's awfully amazing to me to see these worldwide organizations coming out of Sugar Creek, Ohio. Can you talk about that? Talk about your own community. You seem to foster a lot of people with great vision. You're not the first people I've talked to from Sugar Creek who are doing things impacting the people on the other side of the world. What is it about Sugar Creek? What's in the water?
Well, for myself, my grandparents were involved in ministry in other countries. Every winter they would go to Haiti for 3 to 4 months. And like he said, I have a sister that's lived in Haiti for about 15 years. So it's that's just how I grew up. But for them, it's a little bit different, I guess. But, I mean, we are also wanting to do more local outreach. And you can talk about that.
And we will talk about that after a short break. We're going to be with you. We'll be back with you after these words. You're listening to Our Community.